1 o'clock. Here comes...
We bought a zoo.
With a question mark.
Yeah, we bought a zoo. In fact, you'll hear that in a clip in a moment. So this is the latest from Cameron Crowe, who wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I really, really liked, and then made Singles and Jerry Maguire, which I really liked, then kind of went off the boil, as far as I'm concerned, a little bit with Vanilla Sky, and then made Elizabethtown, which was gut-wrenchingly terrible. So this is based on Benjamin Mee's true life account of buying a zoo in Dartmoor, which is given a massive sort of Hollywood sheen, a Hollywood twist, a Hollywood polish, I think is the phrase, by Aileen Brush McKenna, whose credits included Devil Wears Prada, 27 Days, I don't know how she does it. In this version, Matt Damon, recently widowed, moves his family to a new home. It turns out, guess what about the new home?
What?
You're freaking kidding me. It's a zoo.
Well, yeah. Look, these animals need somebody to rescue them.
The animals need to be Dad, my friends are here. Our life is here.
Man, you got expelled. All right? What am I going to do? What am I supposed to... I'm going to homeschool you?
No.
Right. So what did we talk about? A new place. A new start.
This is what you want. It's not what I want.
What?
It's a zoo. I'm moving to a zoo.
We bought a zoo!
Yes, we did. We did buy a zoo.
We bought a zoo. We bought a zoo. We bought a zoo. We bought a zoo. We bought a zoo.
Yeah.
As opposed to we bought a Go on, what are you going to say?
No. I just think it's a really rubbish title, but if it's got Matt Damon in it, I'm kind of interested in seeing it.
Look, the thing is this. I like Matt Damon very much. I like Scarlett Johansson. I like the fact that it's based on a true story, and I like the true story on which it is based. I like Schmaltz, and I have in the past liked Cameron Crowe. My problem, and I like Local Hero, to which it owes an inspirational debt, apparently. My problem is that even as somebody with the kind of sweet tooth which I have, as somebody who's given to, I know that I'm thought of as bitter and twisted and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not actually.
Only by your kids.
Yeah, thank you. But I like schmaltz. I like sweetness and light. I like all that stuff. But even with somebody as a sweeter tooth as I have, thought, you know what, really, you've got to ladle off the glucose a little bit. It was, after infinite shots of sun dappling absolutely everything and characters growing in exactly the way that you can. I mean, you could literally, at the beginning of this story, sit down and plan out the character development of everybody in it. Now, on the positive front, there is a lovely story in there, but here's what I kept thinking. I'd actually much rather see the real story with the warts and all, and far less of the need to bathe everything in a sub-Spielbergian light. I mean, the interesting thing with Crowe, and here's what I think is crucial, when Crowe was absolutely on the money, the thing he had was a sort of teenage hip appeal, even though he wasn't a teenager. I mean, but he used to write me Fast Times, that's an obvious example, but Singles, I remember when I first saw Singles, in fact, I wrote about it in that book, Celluloid Jukebox, the BFI book, that he had a real ear for this stuff. He has now gone, obviously he's grown up, and he is directing a little bit like your dad. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and certainly I would say that with its PG certificate, the target market for this is the younger viewer, the kind of... At very best, it's like one of what used to be referred to as family entertainment films, that it is so innocuous and so sweet and so gentle-natured.
But that has its place.
Yes, it does. I just want a little bit of bite, a little bit of spice, a little bit of salt, a little bit of...
Why do you want that?
Because otherwise it does end up being sickly sweet. And what I feel is that an interesting story becomes something that is just so separated from reality by the treacle that you just start to lose confidence in it on a believable level. And that, now, at the heart of it, Matt Damon is he does a convincing, and he's a much better character actor than anybody gives him credit for. Actually, I think people now do give him credit. I mean, ever since that whole thing with Team America, in which the gag was Matt Damon, because somehow the gag was he doesn't have range. Actually, he has a huge amount of range, and he's a very likeable screen presence, and he's a very good action star. And I like movies with him in, and I still hold that somewhere in the back of all this, there's another Jerry Maguire coming. There's a film that will, when somebody says, "You have me at hello, I'll be fine." But I just felt with this, even from my point of view, lay off the treacle, lay off the sugar, lay off the musical cue, lay off the dappling sunlight, lay off the constant need to tell me...
So is it there with On Golden Pond, or On Golden Syrup, as my brother used to call it? But is it On Golden Pond? Is it Little House on the Prairie? Is it The Walters?
It's Little House on the Prairie.
But that has it...
Yes, I think I'm attempting to be reasonable by saying that I really had a problem with it. I understand that actually, as an incredibly genial family film, it will find fans. I'm not one of them.
Okay. We Bought a Zoo without the question mark is all over the posters, isn't it? So presumably they're going for the family market. And
what do you mean it's all over the posters? The
title.
Of course the title's all over. That's what the whole sense about putting the poster. It's to advertise the film, Simon.
Posters all
do you know
over
how
the
advertising
buses.
works?
No, remind me.
You make up a quote from some journalist that doesn't exist in WKG